What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 68 of the FlipScreen Games Podcast, a weekly video game podcast where three best buds from different nations come together to discuss the wide world of video games. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined as always by my very good friends and co-hosts, Mr. Stephen Radford.
Hello, hello.
And for the first time as an official member of the FlipScreen Games crew, Mr. Max Wright.
It's nice to have talent recognized, and yeah, it's good to be here.
Game
Finally.
recognizes game, buddy.
Us, Max.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Finally, I can start getting paid for writing positive reviews.
There you go. Nailing it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're all Sony shills over here, especially Pete. So you can be a PlayStation pony just like him, or come join me on the Xbox side.
PlayStation pony. That it's not alliteration; it's a rhyme. It's Sony pony. We take offense to that, man.
Thank you. Right? Exactly.
Whatever. I don't know. Same difference. That shows how much I care about Sony.
I think we've hit a great balance here because you have someone to back you up as a Brit. I have someone to back me up as someone with taste. I think it's gonna work out for us. I think it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Who's backing me up? Actually, both of you.
Look, Max, if you want someone to back you up, you gotta get somebody else to join the team. All right, that's it's like a pyramid scheme. You keep bringing in people underneath you, and eventually, I don't know, something happens. Profit, I guess, is step 3. So yeah,
that's exactly what happened with FTX. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. See, perfect analogy. So yeah, this has been a long time coming. I think if you've been listening to the shows the last couple of weeks, Max has obviously been around quite a bit. We are very excited to welcome Max to the team, not just as a host, but as a producer behind the scenes, helping us putting the shows together and developing some original projects that we can't talk about just yet. So really, really excited to have you as a member of the team, Max. We've been, the three of us have been working together for a very long time off and on.
4 years.
Yeah, so very cool. Yeah. To have you as a permanent member of the crew, man. So thanks for joining us, and yeah,
the warm welcome.
Of course, we have a lot to talk about, and you've got a hard out later, so we're gonna just get into it here. This week's show is all about our predictions for this year's Game Awards. We are just a week away from Jeff Keighley's Pride and Joy, the Game Awards, December 8th. We've got a lot of categories to talk about. We're going to lay down some predictions on who we think is going to take home the gold, as well as maybe a couple events, announcements, that kind of thing. And then, of course, when we do our review of the Game Awards next week and we talk about all the announcements of the show itself, all that good stuff, we'll see who had the sauce. And let's be real. It's going to be me, gang. I mean, maybe Max can be the competitor that I've been looking for. Because Steve, Chewy, I'm just
oh my god,
whipping
it's almost like Chewy predicted the exact date of a game and none of us were able to do so.
You're right, but guess what? They moved the date, baby. So what's the scoreboard say, Steven?
I really want to give him something for that because I still feel so bad about it. I'm looking forward to catching up on our predictions next month, and checking in and seeing that I was a dismal loser. But hopefully I'll win something for the Game Awards predictions.
What we'll have here, Steve, right? Of course, and the Game Awards predictions are just for fun. That's not part of our annual predictions. But those are around the corner. We're going to unveil the trophy for the winner this year.
No, don't spoil it for anyone. I'm excited to see it.
I wouldn't. I have to wait until the episode so you guys can see it.
Does it exist? Does it currently exist?
Max, I'll tell you this.
It's a real thing, Max.
It's a real thing.
And you can win it.
And I'm touching it right now. It's right here to the side. And the only other person in the crew...
It was me all along.
It was you, Max. The only person besides me who's seen it is Sierra. I showed her because she didn't get to participate last year. I guess I could show you too, Max, because you didn't weigh in on it. So if you want to catch it later, stay later and I'll show you. But
it goes to show how little your wife must come downstairs into the basement that even she's not seen it.
No. And the person that made the trophy...
Never seen it. He had a blindfold on the whole time.
Yeah.
That was the condition.
It's a mess, but it's fine,
So we are going to get into, like I said, our predictions, our hopes, our dreams for the Game Awards. But a question here that I think we wanted to kick things off with was, who's planning on watching the event live? Because I know for you guys that's a really tall order, right? For me, it's a little bit easier. It's a late, goes pretty late anyway. But like when we co-streamed last year, which I don't think we'll be doing this year. And Steve was up until 3 a.m, I think, to catch the
Yeah, and
end
then
of
I
the
had
show.
to try and go to sleep after that. So like then it was like I was actually awake until like 4, I think. I'm probably not going to watch it live. I will be opening up as Max is on Steam TV, so I can try and win a Steam Deck. Go and listen to the Steam Deck podcast.
You
this
have
week
to
if you want
watch.
hear all about that.
You have to be watching to win your Steam Deck, though. If you guys don't watch through the whole show, what if they give it to you and you can't claim it?
Is that how it works?
I think so.
It better not, because I'll be devastated.
No.
All right, well, I'll be
does that mean
pouring
that
some
no one can go-
espressos for myself then, and watching if that's how it works.
I'm sure you can write a little something, Steve, that when you get a notification of some kind, automatically click the yes button or something.
I'll give Pete my login, and he can open that up on like another browser window. and he can claim it
I've got
for me.
3 browsers open, so I'm watching to see if any of us win. I'll need 2 different VPNs, but yeah, maybe we can make that happen. I'm gonna watch it live. I usually watch it live. You know, I think, you know, for as much as the show is often a mixed bag, I have fun watching it. Right, like it's. I think it's enjoyable for me to watch in the same way that like even a bad E3 presentation can be. Right, where it's like if you're watching it with somebody that's interested, it makes for an enjoyable evening, even if.
Yeah.
You know, because like last year's show, I certainly had a lot to critique about the pace, but yeah,
that was last year's was a gruel. I really hope this year's isn't.
But like we had fun watching
again,
it, right?
so.
Like even though it was a slog, like we had fun even in the parts that were rough because like we were suffering through it together and riffing on it and kind of like
I used to enjoy watching it. I used to enjoy I would. Every we'd get some mates together, we'd be at a friend's house, almost like an E3 event. We'd just have some drinks and see what happens, and I was a younger man then. I was about 22 when we did the first one, as I'm sure we all were thinking about it. But the last one I remember watching live properly the whole way through was 2018, after we'd sort of not been working together very long. Pixelpar slid into my DMs and was like, hey man, just to let you know, I think they're going to show Metroid Prime 4 at this one, and I was like, "Oh, well, I've got to go and pick up Smash Brothers at midnight, and they've got work in the morning, so I won't watch it." But like, thanks for the heads up. And then I just couldn't sleep with the thought of it possibly happening, so I watched every single moment of that, and it got to like 3 a.m.
Famously, it was there, right? Pixel was absolutely right on the money. That's where they revealed the full gameplay footage for that.
Hey man, he can't be right all the time.
I did not feel good the next day, but yeah, this year
that's the issue. Like, it's on a fucking Thursday. Like, come on, Jeff. If you're gonna be doing it till ridiculous o'clock in the morning for the majority of the world, could you maybe please do it on a Friday?
Even for me, in my time zone, it's pretty late, right? For a Thursday, like it's like I was up until at least midnight, right, or whatever, close to it.
It starts at 12:30 for us. So even like like you say, 3 a.m. Not for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But I think like in terms of the common criticisms, right? Like they are what they are, I think that the show has evolved in good ways and evolved in bad ways, and like I think every year is kind of a clean slate for me, and I'm happy to go in and see like what it's going to look like, because I think in many ways it's gotten better every year, as much as there have been growing pains, especially the last couple of years where they had to kind of adjust the way that they did it, I don't think that helped.
Yeah, when it wasn't in person, this is the first time they're back. I think it's in the Microsoft Theater, and they're there in person with obviously a full audience this time around, which would be nice to see. And I'd be happy to see people coming up on stage and collecting their awards again, which was always great to see. So I look forward to watching it. I'll probably watch a little bit of it live, and then I'll probably drift off to sleep like I usually do. And then catch the rest in the next day for like the big announcements and who won. Because I'm interested to see.
It's also like I think a thing where you could probably pretty easily like watch it time shifted, and then like you could just do it like I do whenever I miss an event like that, and it's like all right, just watch the VOD and then skip
fast forward through the ads.
Yeah, right. And you can just focus on the meat. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into the predictions themselves. I think we've been dancing around long enough. I think rather than go from like least hype category to most, let's just start with the bangers, right? And like we'll work our way through. We're not going to go through every single category because I think there are a couple that we won't necessarily have an interesting debate on. But getting into kind of the bigger ones, right? Game of the year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. And our nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And before we cast a vote, right? What we're gonna do is what the game we think will win, not the game we want to win, right? So this is a predictions game.
I think God of War, but I want Elden Ring. Just to throw that in there.
I also think God of War has a good chance of winning. Steve and I had a conversation about this a couple weeks back on this podcast, and I think God of War has a couple things going for it that Elden Ring doesn't, in terms of like recency bias and I think it being a game that appeals to a wider array of the types of people that vote. In this, because right, obviously Elden Ring a more popular game than God of War, at least seemingly, right? Like, based on its initial sales, I think, well, maybe they're about.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about that on last week's FlipScreen Games podcast as well, where God of War was on one platform, right? Do you think? I kind of feel like they probably could have done double if they launched on all platforms.
That's a good point.
Probably would have hit what Pokemon did.
Yeah,
they probably would have made the 10 million within the week. So I don't think you can look at it like that in terms of popularity, because it is only on PS4 and PS5.
That's true.
I still think Elden Ring's going to win. It sounds like you two both think God of War.
Yeah.
I've obviously not played God of War, so I can't really speak to it, but I do kind of feel like there are still so many people in the industry that talk about it, that are talking about the fact that Elden Ring was something special. It kind of set the tone and set the page for what an open world game is going to be moving forwards, and I really think that Elden Ring is going to clench it for a lot of people, so that's why I'm going with Elden Ring.
And should I be writing these down? Are we tracking these?
Yeah, we got these. I put Steve put a table in the show notes. If you want to do that, that would be great.
I would love to. Oh, okay, yeah, we're already doing.
Thanks, buddy.
Sound cool.
You got it. You're nailing it. Yeah, I think you make a good case, Steve. I think Elden Ring is definitely, I think for most of the year has been the obvious choice, right? And I think it's the game I think had the most juice going into this season. But yeah, I think when you look at God of War, I think aside from the recency bias, like I think one of the things that I often impacts what game of the year is a game that that really like strikes a chord with people emotionally. And I think a lot of people definitely probably have those feelings about Elden Ring. But again, I think God of War being a very emotional story, it being the kind of climax of this, and then the conclusion of this Norse mythology story that they started in 2018 that obviously struck a really big chord with the voters the year it came out. I don't know. I think all of those things coupled with the fact that it also has a really great soundtrack and a really great combat system, and like it succeeds in a lot of the ways that Elden Ring does. Not necessarily as like an open world game or a game about exploration. I definitely would give Elden Ring its flowers there. And in a game that like has more better water cooler moments, it's a far less linear story. It's more opportunities for self-expression. Those are all things that people connect with as well. And like the story you told with Elden Ring versus the story From Software told you. Or I guess in this case, the story's...
I also think there is a story in there. Like a lot of people say there is no story, but I do think there is a great story in there. It's just told in a different way. It's not like watching a movie. I really think that Elden Ring uses the medium well. It forces you to find tidbits around the world and piece it together yourself, rather than here's a cutscene and we're going to move you through to the next gameplay section. And I like that. I really like it, the way Elden Ring tells the story. And as I played more, I've uncovered more. The whole Rani questline, for example, I think is a monumental achievement in terms of storyline.
And
we are getting dangerously close to our own end of year game of the year discussion here, boys.
Yeah, we won't go any deeper on it. You're right. I don't want to spoil that conversation. But I think you're right about all of those things. I also think that what that game is doesn't appeal to everybody. And not to say that God of War does, but I think it's a more traditional type of game, and it's a type of game that a lot of people will give a shot in a way where they might not connect with Elden Ring. And I think that enough of the voting body will have tried God of War and connected with it, or maybe are already biased towards it because of their appreciation for the original. But we'll see. I think there's a great chance that you're going to be right, and Max and I will both lose out on this one. All right, best game direction is awarded for.
What does it even mean?
It means
like this.
It's outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
I don't know, man. This is not an award for me. This feels like.
And who are the nominees?
The nominees are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray. I think Elden Ring probably takes this one.
I'm struggling on this one because
I think so too.
Yeah, I think Elden Ring's probably the one that, when I think of a director, I think, and I'm talking about this in the way that Jeff Keighley probably made this award to be the the Hideo Kojima award, but I think of Miyazaki as directing Elden Ring, whereas I couldn't tell you the name of the director of God of War Ragnarok. I've just got Corey Barlog in my head.
Sure.
Where he was much more of a driving
him.
force in the first one. So, yeah, let's go Elden Ring. Go on, I'll join in with you guys.
I think
hands.
I think Elden Ring makes the most sense.
I think for me it's Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring or Immortality, which I think is if that's the last one in kind of that trilogy of FMV games, if I'm not mistaken. I think Elden Ring for me clenches it.
I think, Steve, you made the point earlier, and I think this is a common talking point about this game, is that it's innovative, right? And that it's like, this is a game that, all open world games from now on are going to learn from, and like that's the narrative around this game.
It's kind of similar to Breath of the Wild in that regard, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with that in mind, it's got to be that game. And I think especially if God of War wins, if a lot of people vote for God of War for Game of the Year, I bet you they'll give this to Elden Ring as like maybe it wasn't the Game of the Year, but it was clearly the most innovative, the most groundbreaking game that came out this year,
Yeah.
Which, is a different thing. So then next up we have Best Narrative. For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, our nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
I think God of War takes this one for me in terms of narrative and telling a story. I think it probably clenches it over Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring brings a lot more to the table than just narrative.
I think that. Yeah. This is who I think is going to win. So yeah, God of War, not who I want to win. So,
I think I could see Immortality winning if it was more because the people that talk about it like are through the roof into it, but I don't feel like it necessarily. Again, I don't think it's going to have as much play as God of War. I think God of War is a thing that most people who are voting will have played, and the story is, I think, the most standout thing about God of War. In the same way that I think like the direction is probably the most standout thing in Elden Ring, right? So, like, again, if God of War doesn't win Game of the Year, I think it's going to clinch this for sure. That's my guess. All right, next category, Best Art Direction. We've got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. I honestly I don't know. I don't know who's going to win.
I think Stray. And the for all that game's failings, I don't think it that really for me deserves a victory in like Game of the Year or Best Indie.
Yeah,
but I think being in that world was something special. It felt great. I loved the direction. I loved the NPCs in it. Every character seemed to have a unique feel to them. The art direction, I think, was solid.
It does also call out against
its
it calls out animation, and that was something that game did really well.
Yeah, so Stray for me, I think, is the one. The other possibility would be Scorn, just because of what that game is. So Scorn's your pick?
Yeah, Scorn's my pick, absolutely. Not because I think it's necessarily the best looking, or I do think that God of War is technically more impressive and has like much better design, but I feel like Scorn's entire bag is here is this world we've created that looks disgusting and it's so cohesive. And yeah, I think Scorn does it for me.
I could see Horizon winning as a consolation prize. I think that's something like that game is beautiful and like its animation is really good. But I think I'd probably give it to Stray.
For me, it looks like a Sony open world game. It looks like so many others. It doesn't feel unique to me in that regard.
I don't know how you can say that when you're talking about design and animation with like the creature design and that is so unique compared to every other game of its ilk. And like the attack patterns and like.
But in that regard, like then I kind of feel like Elden Ring's creature design is as well, and like the animations and stuff within the boss battles are so unique and special.
I mean, are they though, or do they just look like other From Software games? It's like the same argument, right? Like,
yeah, but I can't. I mean, I've not played any other From Software games, so I don't really have a point to that. But I do feel like they were special every single time it went from like phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. I was always like surprised and mesmerized as to what was going on or what was happening.
There's a ton of personality to every boss.
Yeah, they're all unique and distinctive, and you remember the battle with every single one of them. Mm-hmm. Which I can't really say about Horizon. Like a lot of the big like battles with the machines, they all feel very similar. They all feel like, oh, I'm battling a big machine, and I'm gonna scan it and take down its big parts and get rid of them. The final boss battle's different, very different, and the battles against humans are different. But I feel like the battles against the machines all feel quite similar.
I remember seeing people sort of on Twitter when it first came out being like, have you seen boss battles like this before? And a lot of the replies were like, yes, I've played Monster Hunter before.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't think they're remotely comparable. Like, I think Horizon looks so much better than a Monster Hunter, but that's not what we're here to argue. I'm gonna give it to Stray because I think I could see Stray getting the nod here, because it really did have, I think, very good art direction for all the things I can say that were not great about it. I think that is one of the things that it really nails and is very special. Best score and music, we've got Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal, Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I personally, my choice for this one is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because I just think that Xenoblade games have just this like incredible emotion to them, and like all of the areas and the worlds all sound great. However, I would love to give a solid mention to Metal Hellsinger's soundtrack. It's really good and it plays so perfectly into the gameplay of that game. And I think if you like game music and you like playing games that have good music and you haven't played Metal Hellsinger, I would highly recommend doing it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this did win because of the originality and what it does. But yeah, I'm going to go for Xenoblade personally.
I'm going to go with Xenoblade as well. I think the soundtrack was really exceptional, and I think it got attention for having a really good soundtrack. I remember people talking about how hard the regular battle music goes. So I think that's probably a good pick.
I'm going to follow your lead. I've only played Elden Ring out of this list. And so if you both think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 gets the win, then I'm gonna follow you.
I'd be hard pressed, if I'm being honest, to think of a part in God of War other than the main, theme song of the new God of War games. I'd be hard pressed to think of one of the areas where I was just like, oh yeah, this is a bop, or oh yeah, like I'm really feeling this.
I don't
know.
I kind of disagree. I'm gonna say this in the most spoiler light way possible. Max, you know the part of the game where this is hard to talk around. Okay, where
tell him off mic if it's gonna
spoil it. Okay. I'll tell you off mic. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
I don't even want to possibly spoil the thing I feel like I have to say to
Is it the epilogue?
It's not.
Okay.
It's a fight theme that's introduced later.
Okay.
It's not the original fight theme, but it's
the fact that I can't think of it doesn't bode well for the rest of this conversation anyway. So
fair enough. All right. So next up, we got best audio design. This is the best in-game audio and sound design. So that's like non soundtrack design here. So what we've got for this: Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West.
I'm giving this to Gran Turismo 7 because every single year there's a car game. It wins this category. Last year, Forza Horizon 5 won in this category. And I'm giving it to Gran Turismo 7.
He's playing to win.
I was thinking that made sense to me. Because I think you could make an argument for the other games on this list to some degree, but I think the people that might vote for them might split the vote enough, and like the people that care about Gran Turismo might carry that through.
How many? I mean, we've had good car sounds since Crazy Frog first came out. How are they still doing new and inventive ways to do it?
That's exactly what it sounds like. We got it. Yeah.
How are they still doing new invent? How are they still doing it?
I don't know.
I'm actually going to give this one out of this list, I guess, to Elden Ring, because I remember Elden Ring. So when you're out in the world and stuff, it's very quiet and serene, but there is a lot of satisfying noises when you pull off a parry or call the horse, and you're sort of clip-clopping around and all the wind rustling through the trees.
There's a lot of just grisly ass monster sounds too. The sound design in Elden Ring is tight. And again, I'd give honorable mentions to the other games that I played on this list. The sound design in Horizon is very good. The sound design in God of War is really good. We talked about that in the interview we did with Sightless Combat a couple of weeks ago, Max, where it was like that's one of the things that makes God of War so satisfying, right? It's like, Kratos moves slowly, and the way they put the grunt with it gives such weight to what's happening, and the sound of the axe getting tossed, all that stuff is really satisfying. Horizon, the machines and all the crazy sounds they make and all that stuff. There's I think all of these are good candidates, but I think Steve's probably right. So I'm gonna go with that as well. All right. Next up, we've got Best Performance, awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. And we have Ashley Birch for Horizon Forbidden West, Charlotte McBurney for A Plague Tale Requiem, Christopher Judge for God of War Ragnarok, Manon Gage for Immortality, and Sonny Suljic for God of War Ragnarok. Apologies if I mispronounce anyone's name. I think I did pretty good, but
I think you did a pretty good job there. This is a tough one, but for me, because it's between the two God of War characters. This very much felt like Atreus' game, and Atreus' character was well done, but I feel like Kratos' performance probably clinches it for me. And there were moments that Kratos had that really made me feel like major emotions. Whereas for Atreus, I was like, I like where his character's going and where his story's going, and not necessarily that he was selling it to me.
And he did great. He did great. But I agree with you. There's a sadness that Christopher Judge, I think, brings, and a softness that he brought to the role that really sells the script and the ways in which Kratos as a character has changed.
Great.
I don't know that he's going to win. I think there's probably a case for other people on this list, but he's my vote too, I think.
I was going to give it to Christopher Judge. I actually think I'm going to give it to Ashley Birch because her playing, and this is a spoiler, so apologies, 2 characters in Horizon was very impressive to me. They were so very different in terms of personality and performance.
You're right.
And that for me, being able to play such a strong female protagonist and then someone who's been hammered down and just is nothing was really strong for me.
Yeah, I love Ashley Birch. She's really, really fantastic. Fuck. I kind of want to give it to her too. I'm going to stick with my gut. I hope you're right, though, Steve.
I'm glad to hear it. Christopher Judge is great, and I love him. And he's in my favorite sci-fi series of all time, Stargate SG-1. If you've not seen it, please go watch it.
He's great. He's great. I love him too. But I hope Ashley wins. I do.
I'm currently 4 or 5 episodes into Mythic Quest, and her character is great.
Good job.
She's phenomenal in that show as well.
Yeah. Also, she's in Life is Strange. Okay, next up we got Games for Impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, which is the fancy way to say games that Pete likes.
I was gonna make this joke earlier when I was putting the document together. Oh, I can't believe
Has Pete played any of them though? Because I know the answer is
no, I haven't. As Dusk Falls, I do have on my. I've got it downloaded to play, and I'm gonna.
Pete, you've got to have Citizen Sleeper on that list as well. I'm telling you, it's gonna be one for you.
I know. All right, so we got.
It's as close to that game is as close to Disco Elysium as you will get.
Fuck. You can't just say shit like that to me, Steve. The other thing we were going to talk about this week was how there's too many games and it's like impossible to play them all right now. And yeah, I want to play all these games, you know? Well, anyway, on the list we have A Memoir Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Extinction is Forever, and Hindsight. I feel like it's going to be either Memoir Blue or As Dusk Falls, because I think those are the games that have gotten the most press, and they had the biggest marketing push behind them because they were put out by fairly large publishers.
Yeah, I think it's probably As Dusk Falls. It came to Game Pass day and day. It was pretty well received. It's got a unique visual style to it I think people remember. So I would give it to As Dusk Falls. I would like it to be Citizen Sleeper, which is the one that I voted for, but I think it will be As Dusk Falls.
I could not tell you a single thing about any one of these games, but I'm going to go for As Dusk Falls so I don't lose this one if it is that. So
I'm going to go with that too.
Let's keep these points there when all of us haven't played a single one of these games. However, I am very interested in Citizen Sleeper just from the look of that one image.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out! Like the battle system, like the system is in there with the dice roll. It's gonna be for you. I'm telling you.
You've got me. You've got me.
All right. Next up, we got Best Ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Our nominees are Apex Legend, Destiny 2. Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I don't know.
Well, okay, so I know that Final Fantasy XIV,
yeah,
the friends of mine that I know have been playing it, have been, loving it.
Did it have an expansion this year?
It did, yeah.
So, yeah.
I could see that winning then. Because you're right.
Me too.
I've heard a lot of conversation around. Didn't Destiny just have an update, though?
Destiny 2's had an expansion this year. Obviously, Genshin Impact has had like huge patches as well. Fortnite's just had like a really big season.
I think Genshin
there's arguments for all of them.
I think Genshin Impact is too niche, and I think Fortnite is like nobody wants to vote for Fortnite. So I feel like it's Destiny or it's Final Fantasy.
For me, I'm going with Final Fantasy. I feel like that had a big resurgence. I know an absolute ton of people who left World of Warcraft and went to Final Fantasy because WoW's expansion this year was terrible.
I'm going to go with Destiny because it had a more recent update, and I know that it was very popular, right? So, like, I'll roll the dice on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if I've already said that, actually. But yes,
no, you didn't. You're good.
Okay, yes.
All right. So, next up, we have one of my favorite categories, Best Indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Our nominees are Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
This is the first year that I've never played a single one of the nominees for indie game.
Really?
Year, probably.
You know what's mental to me is how they can say it's outside the traditional publisher system and then like include like Devolver Digital games. It's like, what? How is that like what that is now?
Because they are outside the traditional publisher system to a degree. right? Like it gets less and less so every year. That's for sure. But
like Devolve is a publicly traded company now. It's like
it's true.
You're not like you're just a publisher at this point, and you just happen to publish smaller titles. That's it. That's the only difference.
Yeah, fair enough.
But for me, I think it's probably going to be Cult of the Lamb. Tunic was a very mixed bag. Like it should have just been Zelda style combat and not Soulsy style combat.
Ooh.
Stray. It could well be Stray. Like it just won like best PlayStation game.
It could be Stray. I think I could see a lot of people
there in Game of the Year as
well.
And
it's
in the Game of the Year,
and it's not going to win Game of the Year, right? No. So like I think everybody's going to be like, "Well, it didn't win Game of the Year, but we'll give it Indie Game of the Year," which is bullshit because I think Cult of the Lamb is a much better game. But
I'm going to give it to Stray because I think it's going to be Stray.
I think it's going to be Stray.
I
think it's Stray. I think it's going to be Stray. Especially because Stray is nominated in all these other categories where it's not going to win.
It's really sad. Really sad. Because the one game I want it to be is Vampire Survivors, and it's not on this list for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, I can't believe the only one Vampire Survivors is up for is like Best Indie Debut or something. But like, how do you be in Best Indie Debut and not also Best Indie?
Be a Best Indie. Right, I just don't get it.
Oh,
I guess not enough people played it.
Old, man.
You know? I don't know.
Here we go. Time for another peak category.
No, I don't even like mobile games, but I do like Marvel Snap. So for best mobile game, we've got Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. It's got to be Marvel Snap.
It's got to be Marvel Snap.
Marvel Snap slaps, baby. You kidding me? It's a great game, and everybody who plays it is surprised by how legit it is. So it's gonna win. All right, we're gonna skip community support. We'll skip a couple here. Do you want to do best VR AR? I don't know any of these games.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
let's do best VR AR.
All right. We got best VR AR for the best experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. After the Fall, Among Us VR, Bone Lab, Moss Book 2, and Red Matter 2.
It had better be Bone Lab. It really should be.
Moss is the only game that I know that isn't Among Us.
Bone Lab is the follow-up to Bone Works. It came to the Quest, so it's finally moved outside of PC VR. I could see After the Fall as well. That one's very, very well received and it's a very good game. But I think probably Bone Lab would be the one I would give it to if I was voting. So I'm going to go with Bone Lab.
I think that from what I have played of Red Matter 1, I would, and I think I've probably seen some after the Fall. But I think I'm going to go for Red Matter 2 for this one.
I'm going to go with Among Us because I don't really know any of the other games, so I'm going to go with
it's not going to be Among Us.
Go with the one
that's fine.
3D, the 3D, what are they called? What are the characters? The Amoguses. The Amoguses. 3D ones creep me out too much, man.
Yeah.
Look at that little hand across its face.
They freak me out too. But I'm going to go with that. I don't know. Whatever. Next, we got Best Action Game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat, we have Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I think looking at that list, I think Ninja Turtles is probably going to clinch it. Just off
You think so?
Just because I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking about how much people that were into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were into Shredder's Revenge. Like, people were into that game.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Sifu had like such a huge moment this year.
I'm going to go with Sifu, I think, because I think Sifu had a moment. I think a lot of people like it, and I could see this being the category that everybody is going to stump for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Max is right. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a safe bet. I think if Bayonetta didn't have controversy,
I had such a good time.
I think Bayonetta would have been the clinch. But
I don't know because it had its problems, right? Like it was kind of not as performant as it should be.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like that kind of had a bang, and then it fizzled. Whereas Sifu seemed to have like a real moment this year.
All right,
and
next.
Neon White did too. Like it was that
That's
card
true.
game, right? The
Yeah.
one where you like shoot with the cards.
Neon White I could also see winning. I think that's another good choice. Next up is Best Action Adventure. This is for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. The nominees are Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. I think God of War takes this one.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a lot of exploration in that game?
Yes.
Yeah. There's like each world has its
traversal
own...
and puzzle solving. Like, what are the puzzles like in
There's a ton of puzzles.
They every level has its own sort of series of puzzles and different, like, you know how Zelda games have like each world, you get an item and that item then can be used to traverse around, and you find something, you go, I remember earlier I had that, I can go back there and use this item to get to this place.
It's a lot of stuff like that. Or it'll be like, there's bounce the axe off this thing and hit this target, or freeze this water and then use that to move this thing over here. So you can, it's like there's a lot of
use the water to make the water rise and stuff. Yeah, there's like, I mean, it's the God of War, last God of War was full of puzzles and had large open areas, and this one went above and beyond that by having each world have its own open area, very much like the main open area from the first game. Steve, you need to play this game, man. The fact that you don't know this about this game.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't know that there were puzzles and exploration, man.
Pick up the original on Steam Deck and get through that, and then...
Oh, yeah, I might too. Probably won't be this year, though.
No. You'll get to it next year.
I kind of feel like Stray is probably going to win this one. I don't know why.
Really?
I really feel like when you talk about traversal and the fact that you're playing as a cat and you're moving around the place, it's either that or Horizon.
No combat, though. And that's one of the things. It's combining combat with traversal and puzzle. The fact that Stray is in this and Elden Ring isn't is kind of weird to me. I know Elden Ring doesn't have puzzles, but like it's an action adventure game.
I'm gonna give it to Ragnarok then. I don't think the puzzles in Horizon were anything to write home about.
No.
I found it annoying traversing around the place at times, so I don't think I would give it to that. Plague Tale, I need to play that. Like, it's on my list, but I just don't think Tunic really holds up.
All right, next is Best Role-Playing Game. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. They are Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's gotta be Elden Ring, right?
Elden Ring is going to steal one of the only categories Nintendo had a shot at.
Yeah, fair play to most of these games, but even against Xenoblade, Elden Ring just has it.
Yeah, I think
so.
Yeah,
I mean, Arceus was never going to win this, right? Like the character customization is just like it's non-existent, really. I don't think.
Yeah,
really
it's also just
like character.
This is another one of those categories, right? Where if Elden Ring doesn't win Game of the Year, this is a thing where everybody's going to double down and be like, "This is the thing it deserves," right? Like it's the exact same like conversation you had when it was the year where it was like Red Dead 2 versus God of War, right? And it's like, oh, like which one's going to take which and which, And I think that's how it's going to shake out. Best fighting game is up next. I don't think I have to explain what a fighting game is. Our options are DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle R, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu.
Sifu? How could you have Sifu in best action game and best fighting game?
I don't think there was not a fifth fighting game for them to put here, I guess. Like, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah, they needed something. It's multiverse.
It's multiverse,
though, right?
Yeah, it's multiverse.
Yeah, multiverses is great. All right. Moving right along, we got Best Family Game, aka Nintendo plus Lego games. And we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
This is a rough category.
For me, it's Kirby.
Yeah, I think it's probably that for me. But also, if we're talking who I think's going to win,
I'm gonna say Kirby, but I'm not confident about that.
I think Lego could take it.
The thing is, I didn't like Lego, but I think Lego probably might win, so I'm gonna go for Lego.
Yeah.
I think Kirby was robbed. Kirby should have been in the top 5 games of the year instead of Stray.
Instead of Stray, yeah.
That's my hot take.
Too.
That's my hot take. This was a really good game, and I think it's really lame that it's probably going to get snubbed. Okay. We got a couple more categories coming up. But before that, let me remind you that this episode of the FlipScreen Games Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of December. They are, of course, Christian Oliveria, Christopher Lenz, Gabriel Hasselmeyer, a.k.a. Sobi, Mary Berry, Wakahula, and Zaid Ida. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/FlipScreenGames. You're all the reals to the real, and your support allows us to bring on new blood like Max. So thank you for your support. We appreciate you. If you want to become a Patreon producer, if you want to go and find our content all over the web, if you want to write into the show with your thoughts on this or any other topic that we've discussed, remember, flipscreen.games. That's the website where you'll find links to all the places we are all over the web. Come join the Discord. All right, let's get back to it. Next up, we've got Best Sim Strategy game. Game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Our nominees are Dune Spice Wars, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Total War Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3.
Dune get a good reception? I can't remember. I don't remember that game coming out.
I feel like it's got to be Mario plus Rabbids, because I feel like all these other games, I do not remember there being much conversation around.
Yeah, but is that to do with your circles?
It could be. It could be. But
I think it's going to be Total War Warhammer 3. Total War, yeah, I really do.
I've heard good buzz. That could be true.
Relic makes some of the best strategy games in the business. You know, they're the team that make Age of Empires now, and Total War games are very, very, very popular. And combining that with Warhammer is a win. I also really love 2 Point games. Like 2 Point Hospital was great.
Yeah.
2 Point Campus is great. But I think Total War Warhammer 3 is going to take it. I just don't think Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope had the level of thunder that the first one did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Dune just to throw a little spanner in the works.
Go for it.
Yeah, why not?
Alrighty, moving right along. I'm gonna skip best. What best sports / racing? We can do that one.
Whatever.
We'll do it. It's FIFA. I'm sorry. It's F1.
Are you joking? Seriously, right? Okay, right. Before you read it out, the Ollie World's here, but Rollerdrome isn't.
Yeah, there was a lot of people saying that Rollerdrome was snubbed.
I think.
What the fuck? It's by the same company, for fuck's sake.
It was snubbed, I think. Great game. Really great game. F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K 23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie World. I think it's probably Gran Turismo 7, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, considering FIFA's sort of my friends that are all diehard FIFA fans are like, it's just getting worse. So yeah, I'm going to go for GT7.
I think that's probably the way to go.
Sadly, I think it's GT7, yeah, even though I don't know that game is particularly great.
All right. Next up, we got Best Multiplayer for Outstanding Online Multiplayer Game Design, or including co-op and... That's interesting. Hold on. Including for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. There we go. So we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
Nothing is leaping off the page to me here. Nothing at all.
Feel like Multiverses, maybe?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I don't know. Like, I don't think Splatoon 3 had the heat this time around.
No, it definitely did.
In Japan, it did.
Sure. But
but not in this panel.
The voting body is Western, yeah. And Call of Duty, right? Like, it's like, again, it just feels like such an obvious choice. Overwatch had a bad launch. I feel like Multiverses.
Overwatch had a terrible launch. Call of Duty did very well though, and I enjoyed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I did too.
Revenge, but I wasn't like writing home about the fact that it was an amazing multiplayer experience, and I was telling everyone about it. I feel like Multiverses probably clinches it. But are you two going with Multiverses?
That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the same.
I'm going to bat for my game, Multiversus. All right, next up we got Best Debut Indie. For the best debut game created by a new independent studio, Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors are our nominees.
It's Vampire Survivors.
I think it's Vampire Survivors. Yeah, it got snubbed in the other categories. I think the people that played it will want to go to bat for it here. And the people that didn't play it will hopefully split the vote. All right, let's see. We got a couple more here. Yeah, we'll do this one, I guess. Best adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
It's Arcane. There's no way it's not Arcane.
The only other one I could see would be Cyberpunk, and that was it was.
I'm
recent,
going with Edge Runners,
but I'm gonna go with Arcane as well. I think.
Yeah, I'm going with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It's very crazy how many of these are Netflix properties.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. They got a pretty good track record, honestly. They have a better track record of adapting video game shit than anybody else. All right, coming up on the last couple categories here, we've got the most anticipated game, recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to be Legend of Zelda. It's going to win for the 3rd year in a row. It has to be.
I think that's... Oh, has that specifically won 2 years in a row?
It definitely
has already won 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
This will be the 3rd year.
Okay, I was going to say Starfield because of I feel like it's got a larger audience and more years behind it maybe, but okay, if it's won 2 years in a row then yeah, it's Legend of Zelda. Oh, but do I go for the steal and try and say Starfield? I'm going to stick with Zelda. No, let's do Zelda. Actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Starfield.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going for Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Big.
Thanks for the point. Okay. Let's see.
Right. Can I ask that we stop doing categories and spend these last few minutes, 5 minutes, because it's all esports shit from here.
No, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Let's talk about let's just throw out 2 or 3 each of our personal predictions that aren't related specifically to a category for the win, right?
Okay. You start, Max. What's your first one?
I think prediction 1, Elden Ring DLC. I think we might have Elden Ring DLC announced.
Have they ever done DLC?
No. What? Do you mean Dark Souls or like
From Software, like for any of their
games? Souls game from.
Yeah, I mean there was 2 expansions to Dark Souls 3. There was they released another version of Dark Souls 2 that had all the DLC. There were 2 expansions to the first Dark Souls. Bloodborne had the Old Hunters DLC.
Cool.
They've all had DLC except for Sekiro.
And there's a big old hole on the map, Pete, just ready and ripe for some DLC to slot right in.
All right.
Have a cold shower, mate.
Good prediction.
And I feel like they love to team up with Jeff. Feels like it'll be the perfect time for it.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. All right, Steve.
I think
what do you got?
Kojima's game will be revealed.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, that is a great guess. In fact, yeah, that's a solid one.
He'll definitely be there, right? That. Hopefully he'll have a game to show this time.
Somehow he'll win an award. Somehow. He's not even done.
I mean, we've seen footage of it leaked this year. He's been teasing Elle Fanning in the game. So it's like, I feel like we're going to see a new Kojima game.
He'll have best podcast hosted by a video game director, and he's the only the only entry.
Where's that category? Best video game podcast.
Watch. Okay. So for my first prediction, I'm gonna go with Horizon DLC.
Interesting.
Forbidden West,
even with the VR game in February.
Yeah. It might be risky, but I think
that's fine.
Forbidden West came out earlier this year. With the original Horizon, we had gotten the Frozen Wilds, I think within a certain number of months of release. It was pretty close. So this might be a risky one, but I think it would be kind of odd if it didn't get DLC. So we'll see.
So shall I go for number 2?
Yeah, go for it.
The toss up here. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, let's say Zelda does another Zelda trailer. Nintendo does another Zelda trailer. What did I say? Yeah, that. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's a pretty safe bet. But we see yeah, go on.
I'll go with mine then, which is Nintendo will not be at the Game Awards.
Big. I was thinking Nintendo
For the second year in a row, they weren't at Jeff's summer event. I kind of feel like maybe his connection was with Reggie. Reggie's no longer there, has moved on. I don't think Nintendo will be there.
Interesting. I mean, it's very possible. You are right. Reggie was at the Game Awards last year, right?
He was.
He was. Reggie was, yeah, but not as a Nintendo employee.
Yeah, no Nintendo announcement, right? Did they have something the year prior?
They did not.
I'm trying to think of when the last time they had a big announcement was.
Well, they had... That's 2017, Bayonetta 3. They had Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That's 2018.
They had the Joker for Smash.
That was 2018.
I think that was the last one.
Surely not. Okay, keep going because surely.
Yeah, you have a look, Max, and see if you can see if there's anything in 2019, 2020. Well, Pete does his second prediction.
Okay. Okay. I think. Let me get a qualifying ask here. Are these just announcement predictions, or are we also can we
No, you can do anything.
Like goofy Game Award shit?
Yeah, you could say Joseph Fares will be there again, spouting about the Oscars being crap.
I feel like that will probably happen, right? Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take that because I think he has a game in development right now, and I bet you he's there and we get a first look at his game.
Okay, so Joseph Fares announces new game.
Yeah. Well, it's been announced, right? Or not announced. He's talked about it already, so I think it'll be like...
showcases.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Okay, fair enough.
2019, Bravely Default 2 was announced. No More Heroes 3 has its first full trailer. Monster Hunter Rise, which went up in 2020, and Smash Bros. Ultimate revealed a character, possibly Sephiroth, maybe, I can't remember.
That sounds right.
During 2020. So, yeah, I think it was just last year they had...
Just last year they weren't there, and then they weren't at the Summer Games Fest, so I kind of feel like...
No, I think that's a great shout.
Yeah.
Not a bad guess.
What's your number 3, Max?
My number 3, if I have to pick one, I'm going to say that I think someone makes some kind of political statement, maybe, and I think that the target might be Elon Musk.
Okay, so someone makes a political statement about Elon Musk.
Yeah, whether it's they mentioned about him in some way, in a way that is, to highlight him.
I think you're more likely to get one about Ukraine, but you've said Elon Musk, so I'll put that one down.
Yeah, fine.
You're up, Steve.
I'm gonna say that Phil Spencer will be here, and we'll say something like bringing the industry together.
I was definitely gonna guess that.
he's gonna play his little drum kit as he talks, as he likes to do.
It's gonna be like, look, all right, just because Sony is talking shit about us in the media doesn't mean that we can't all come together to celebrate video games.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like that. We're all coming together. He's gonna be there, and I think he's gonna say something like that.
Okay. Damn.
This is the last one, Pete. So make it.
I have one, but I don't I was gonna say a thing about Phil Spencer, and now I'm like, do I try to take another safe bet of a thing that I think will happen again, or do I say I have one in mind? Okay, well I'm the last one, so no one can steal my idea. So I'm gonna talk out loud. I'm wondering if it's too late now, because I was going to say that somebody will make a swipe at like NFTs, but I feel like we're moved on by it at this point.
We are, and I already got that win earlier it was in my year's predictions.
I got a point though too, because I predicted that the NFT market was going to crumble, and it happened. So I'm happy about that. Okay.
I'll go through my list after, which I'll tell you what else on my list. If you're struggling, I can give you some ideas, Pete.
I'm gonna say that we have an appearance. All right, I'll say this one, because this is a thing that's happened the last couple of years. So who knows if it'll happen again? I think there will be an appearance from a Muppet.
Oh my god! Okay, that is a risky pick.
Steve, can I pull up a rule here? Jeff has already tweeted saying, "Shall I bring back a Muppet this year?" I'll be counting that as a
did?
leak.
Yeah, that's a no-go then, I'm afraid.
Fuck. Damn it.
Sorry, mate. You were close.
Okay. Yeah, I'm struggling now. Hold on.
Right, I'll go through my list that I've got in case you want any of these.
I might steal
a new video game movie trailer will be shown.
Okay.
An actor will have a weird cameo. Do you remember The Rock with his weird drink?
God,
and
I could easily go with something like that's like a guarantee. Like a celebrity will show up and awkwardly fucking hawk something that has nothing to do with video games.
I had
that celebrity might be. That celebrity could be Chris Pratt. Oh my god! Comes up on stage and he goes, "It's a me, Mario."
I could see some of that. Yeah. I had a thing about Pico VR having a big presence here. Whether that's in just ads, whether that's in being on stage and presentations, like the Pico VR being used by like the Among Us stuff. I could see something like that. They're trying to make a real big play, and they're the one. That's the new headset from the company that owns TikTok.
Not doing so hot. Is that right? Is that what's all about that?
It's doing pretty. Like the hardware's pretty good. They're just missing some of the games that Meta own, which is a problem.
Like Beat Saber.
Like Beat Saber, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'll go with that. A celebrity will show up and sell something that has nothing to do with video games. And when I say sell something, I think that could be a movie, that could be an album, that could be a energy drink, whatever the fuck it is. It's going to be some celebrity who's here for a very, very flimsy reason to be like, I sure love video games. You know who else loves video games? Monster Energy drink. Okay.
Can I exclude the audio, like the musical guests?
Yeah, no musical guest. There's definitely going to be a musical guest that will play for too long. That'll happen.
Okay.
It's a guarantee.
I'm happy with that.
I wonder who it'll be. It's like it never
announced. It was already announced one, but there'll be someone else. It's always like a band that was like okay a few years ago, and
no, it's not though, because it's that's the thing that makes it hard. Is it's always either a like legacy rock band or a modern pop star. Because like 2 years ago it was like Green Day and Japanese Breakfast, right? Which is like
we had Imagine Dragons last year.
I was literally about to say,
you're
in my head.
Oh my god, I hate Imagine Dragons. Terrible band.
Just imagine dragging. Imagine dragging myself through glass.
3 hours ago, I don't think you can have it, Pete. 3 hours ago, he tweeted that Joseph Fares is back. So I think we need to just swap that one out before we close out.
Okay, come on.
Well, hang on a minute.
And you can have it only if he showcases the new game because he's presenting.
Yeah,
but he has to showcase. No half point for him being there for that one.
Yeah, I say no half points at all.
Oh no, we allow half points.
We allow half points if it's a two-part.
It's gonna get dicey next week, boys.
Yeah,
dicey.
Okay, so when we say showcase,
he has to announce or show a new game.
He has to have footage. Like
he has to have a new game that he talks about and shows title. Yeah, he has to. If
he
shows an image, then I get the point.
If he shows like a logo, an image, something like that, I think I would give you the point.
How about anything that comes after the world premiere? I'll allow you to have the full point.
No!
Anything other than that, you get a half point.
No!
Anything other than that, you get a half point.
No! No way.
Showcases. I hear I'm showcasing a JPEG. Great.
That's what I mean. Like, it's got to be
trying to keep you honest here, Pete.
I think that's all he's got right now, though. I don't think he's got a trailer ready. I don't know. Whatever. Fine. I'll stick with it. If I lose, it'll give you guys a little confidence going into our real predictions in a couple of weeks. You know?
Okay. All right. Fine. Fight and talk.
All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, Game Awards are next week. So the show will maybe it'll come out on time. Yeah, because we'll just have to record on Friday.
We'll record Friday. I'll be out Saturday.
Nailed it. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the FlipScreen Games Podcast. If you want to let us know your predictions for the Game Awards, remember, you can join the Discord. You can write into us at questions@flipscreen.games. However you choose to get in touch, I challenge you to write in for next week's show. Let us know your thoughts on the Game Awards, the games you want to see Game of the Year, win Game of the Year, all that good stuff, and make sure you're a part of the conversation next week. Speaking of which, if you want to keep the conversation rolling with us until next week, come and join our Discord. It's a fun, inclusive place for you to come and talk games. And we always keep the conversation rolling between episodes. Like, everybody's always, chatting about what we talked about on the last week's show. So come and be a part of the conversation. We'd love to have you. Before we go, Max, welcome to the crew.
Thank you very much.
Great work today.
To be here.
Nailed it.
Thanks, Sammy.
Fantastic debut episode. Really good effort.
Like, is it weird ignoring the last 5 episodes I've been on the last couple of weeks?
That don't count.
No.
It's like it's like
you're a guest then.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that trope in like any like team-based show, right? Where it's like, oh, it's like this other character who's like hanging out, and then they like officially join the team, right?
Yeah.
You have that moment.
I was wearing the co-host sheriff badge, but you took it off my lapel. You took a bite out of it, and it was actually a biscuit. That was the.
Yes. Now here I've pinned...
now it's solid gold.
We pinned a proper one on you now. Yeah. So, great work today, everybody. So, like I said, go and support us however you choose to. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for getting involved. For the crew, I've been Pete. He's been Steve. He's been Max. We've been the FlipScreen Games Podcast, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a merry, happy holiday Game Awards season, whatever it's called. Bye.